Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks. I'm sorry for the long delay in these videos. I have been very sick lately. I've been dealing with a little bit of a sore throat, some coughing, a little bit of a runny nose. So I'm going to try to get through this little bit of content for you today. I think I'm just going to do some generalization because I don't think I can go for a full review of these shows. So, if you bear with me, the plan will be a bit of a shorter video, and hopefully I don't hack my lungs out. So, we're going to do WWE Raw, NWA Power, and AEW Dynamite. A very mixed bag of a week so far. So let's get into it with WWE Raw. And then we see... I normally don't do the whole, superstars arriving at the arena thing. But this one was interesting because the Daytona 500 winner... I'm sorry I don't know your name. I haven't watched NASCAR since I was little. But he drove AJ Styles into the arena, so that's pretty cool. Then we get the recap of the Sami Zayn Kevin Owens feud that's been going on. They haven't really interacted since Kevin Owens pile drove Sami Zayn on his neck. He's clearly not 100%. This leads to our first in-arena promo from Sami Zayn, saying, it's been a tough couple of weeks. I'm thinking about the history I share with Kevin Owens, both as friends and as enemies. There has been no closer tie than the ones we share. And with a story that long, we've betrayed one another multiple times. But there is no forgiving or forgetting this time, Kevin. You tried to end my career. But clearly you didn't finish the job. I'm still standing. And I got enough for a fight. And how about in Toronto, we don't have a match, but I'll meet you in the arena. I want this fight. This brings out General Manager Adam Pearce, saying, we've talked about this. I've talked to the board about this. We all want this match. But you've been given this answer more than once. We already told you no. You're not cleared to compete. I would love to sign off on this, but the answer is still no. Adam Pearce goes to leave. Sami Zayn kind of runs after him saying, Adam, how long have you known me and Kevin for? You know I can't take no for an answer, and I'm not leaving until I get this. Adam Pearce turns around and says, I've known you two for a long time, but I cannot sanction this match. If Kevin wants to beat you up, I can't stop him. There's going to be no rules, and WWE is going to wash its hands of this. And even if you win, you still lose. It could be the last matchup of Sami Zayn. Sami replies, you think I don't understand that? I do. I can beat up Kevin Owens too, and you can't stop me. I understand exactly what this means. Give me the damn match. Adam Pearce replies, okay, in Toronto, at the Chamber, it will be Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, but I cannot make it official because it is an unsanctioned match. I cannot remember the last time WWE had an unsanctioned match. So, yeah, this could be a really fun one. Really adds to the danger of the chamber. Although it's not going to be in the chamber. Let's face it. We then get a reveal of the Jade Cargill, who attacked Jade Cargill reveal, in which we see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez leaving the scene. Although I think that is to get us off the scent of Bianca and Naomi. So then we see the Judgment Day in the back. We see, Carlito trying to play 2K. Finn Balor's just kind of chilling with some Dino Nugget plushies, which is very, very weird. And then you got Liv and Dom together. They're still kind of ooey gooey, whatever you want to say. With Dom saying to Liv, I heard Rhea and Bianca are looking for you. Then Liv says, oh, we set things up for Judgment Day. We helped take off some of the load for Finn. Finn Balor walks up, says, somebody mentioned me? You guys have your huge matches tonight. We could potentially have 3 members of Judgment Day in the chambers. It would be embarrassing for you to lose to Roxanne Perez. I'll handle my business if you handle yours. Finn starts to walk off. You got Raquel, Liv, and Dom kind of talking. Finn comes back and then just says, no new members. So then Finn, Dom, and Dom walk off. Carlito's just kind of standing there. And Liv says to Carlito, you should go. So he walks out with him. Then Liv turns to Raquel and says, you feel good tonight? Raquel says, I'm going to squash Raquel. So, yeah, we'll be getting those matches a little bit later. But our first matchup of the evening, and it took you long enough to WWE. We got AJ Styles taking on Dominic Mysterio. And this match was honestly really, really, really good. Both guys have some great chemistry. Of course, Carlito tries to get involved, but AJ Styles takes care of him. Styles goes for the Styles Clash, but Carlito is back up. Dom attempts the roll-up, gets a 2. And Styles finally hits the Styles Clash to pick up the win. Yeah, that was definitely a fun match. I would like to see at least one match without Judgment Day interference. It feels more and more like they're trying to recapture the Bloodline stuff without the Bloodline. Post-match, we see a long shot of, the ring and slipping in behind Styles as he's celebrating. In slips Braun Breaker, the current Intercontinental Champion. He's all revved up. He's ready to spear the heck out of Styles. He goes for it. Styles sidesteps. Braun hits Dominic behind Dom. Breaker turns around, eats an enziguri from Styles. I want this matchup at WrestleMania. I think that would be so good to have at WrestleMania. A really good just clash of styles. No pun intended. Then we get a little recap of the tag team title match from last week between American Made and the Viking Raiders, in which American Made caused the DQ. So then we see American Made in the back, with Ivy Nile kind of taking the lead, pretty much saying, look, you guys have had your shot at the tag team titles. You didn't beat the Viking Raiders last week. So I'm going to have my shot tonight. And I'll eventually bring home the Intercontinental title. Then all of a sudden, Dakota Kai walks in. And Ivy Nile gets in her face saying, everyone else wants to get that shot. While I'm taking the title back to American Made. Dakota then replies, many have tried to take me out. I'll see you in the ring. So, kind of basic promo, but still effective. Then we go into this next matchup, and it's a number one contenders match for the women's Intercontinental title. So we have Ivy Nile taking on Dakota Kai. And this match started out a little bit awkward, but eventually it did pick up. With eventually Dakota Kai winning with the GTK, the Go to Kick, which is a great name for a finisher. So your winner is Dakota Kai. The Women's Intercontinental Champion then gets off of commentary, enters the ring, and they have themselves a little stare down. I was kind of hoping we'd see a bit more diversity in the women's mid-card division, but I'm glad Dakota Kai is getting her shot. Then we get a video replay of Jey Uso picking Gunther for WrestleMania last week. So that is a match set in stone. Am I super excited for it? No, but I do see what WWE is planning here. Gunther is pretty much the Moby Dick to Jey Uso's Captain Ahab. And at WrestleMania, he'll probably get a win. So I do see what they're doing. And speaking of, we get a Gunther promo. However, he doesn't enter through the stage. He takes the Jey Uso entrance and he's yeeting along. He's trying to get the crowd into it, but the crowd are just booing him, which, honestly, I kind of love this. He calls it very simple gesture for very simple people, which, that's definitely a big insult. He then gets in the ring, says, I don't blame you for not appreciating me. Me being here is like reading Shakespeare to a dog. Oh, this is the Gunther I know and love. That's good. He then continues, I'm so sick of stepping in the ring with people who can't lace my boots. At WrestleMania, I'm going to beat some sense into Jey, and it's all because of you. He's digging his own grave. At WrestleMania, a match won't happen here, but in this ring, I outclass Jey in every aspect. And what you all did, after WrestleMania, Jey's blood is on your hands. Do you really think Jey has a chance of beating me at WrestleMania? Starts a small yes chant, which is interesting. You don't have a clue anyway, so Gunther then goes to ringside, goes over to the announce table where Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are. And he asked, Pat McAfee in particular, in your unbiased professional opinion, does Jay have any chance of beating me at WrestleMania? So Pat takes a second. Michael Cole the other entire time saying, don't do it. He's going to hurt you. Pat then says, do I think Jay can beat you at WrestleMania? Absolutely anything can happen. In fact, I hope he can beat you at WrestleMania. So at that point, Gunther drops his title. He's taking off his jacket. He's ready to beat Pat McAfee down. Jey Uso makes the save. Comes down the ringside, and at first, officials are holding him back on the stage. But Jay eventually breaks through, and he and Gunther just brawl. Hits a couple of super kicks to some officials, that's interesting. Officials break them up. Each man breaks away, gets some shots in. Eventually, Gunther does bail out of the ring, walks up the ramp, and leaves. I know there's a couple people who are uninterested in this feud, but I think it's going to be a very interesting finish where we're going, and we'll see how this goes. We then get a Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez interview. They're in some hallway somewhere. With the interviewer asking them if they've seen this video. Liv answers, have we seen this video? No. We're just trying to elevate the division. And while Roxanne has had a cute run in NXT, we don't have time for little theories. We got no time for anyone who stands in our way. And tonight, that's Roxanne. So then Raquel and Liv leave. So they don't really give an answer as to whether they did attack Jade Cargill. More than likely, it's not. We then get a recap of Sami Zayn demanding the match against Kevin Owens from Adam Pearce, and him making it an unsanctioned match. We then have a really short Elimination Chamber card rundown, which, interesting, but whatever. Then we get this weird little rematch, as it's Penta taking on Pete Dunne. And they definitely trade some moves, some good stuff. Eventually, Ludwig Kaiser comes out, and Pete Dunne says, you shouldn't be here, you should go, you should leave. But Ludwig instead comes to ringside. Dunne and Penta trading blows, trading finger snaps too, which is wild. Pete Dunne hits a roll-up, gets a 2. Then he sees Kaiser ringside. They argue for a minute, which takes Pete Dunne away from Penta. Penta hits the Penta driver to pick up the win. And then post-match, Ludwig Kaiser attacks Penta. Then Dunne and Kaiser get into it a little bit, but that's broken up with a Penta dive. I've got a very weird feeling we'll be seeing Kaiser leading his own group. And not only will it include Pete Dunne, it'll probably include Tyler Bate, which, maybe a heel turn for them isn't the worst thing in the world. We then get a little Jey Uso interview. They look like they're in some stairwell somewhere. It's very weird looking. Anyway, Jey says, I've been underestimated my entire career. Y'all doubted me, right? I can't beat 'em. Who's standing here as the Royal Rumble winner? Then I shocked the world I'm going to do it again and become the World Heavyweight Champion. Which, definitely really good promo. Jey Uso's definitely growing on me. So, we then see footage of Bayley playing in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game, which is pretty darn cool. We then get a Roxanne Perez vignette, which, again, pretty darn cool. We then get a video promo from the War Raiders saying, Creeds, you took us to the limit. You're as everything as advertised. You had us beat and you missed. We are still the tag team champions, but you've made the biggest mistakes of your lives. The next match we have, it's going to be war. Oh. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And finally, a rivalry for the World Tag Team titles. I am in. This is something the World Tag titles really needed. And, more than likely, they're probably going to have a match before WrestleMania. That'll maybe include some other teams. Maybe. So, yeah, definitely very happy about that. We then get our last Elimination Chamber qualifying match for the women, as we have Roxanne Perez taking on Raquel Rodriguez. And Raquel, yeah, definitely overpowers Raquel at first, including hitting a big old military press slam. Attempts the Tejana bomb, but Roxanne blocks it. Eventually, Roxanne locks in a sleeper hold, but Raquel breaks out of it pretty easily. Roxanne with a really awkward moonsault only gets a 2. Roxanne attempts pop rocks, but that gets, but Liv hangs on to Roxanne's foot. And then Roxanne eats a big boot. And coming out to make the save is Bianca Belair and Naomi. They corner Liv Morgan and they just start absolutely taking her out. This distracts Raquel long enough for Roxanne to recover, hit pop rocks, and take home the win. And then Bianca and Naomi get Liv into the ring. They're about to hit their double gutbuster or whatever their finish is. But Raquel grabs Liv, drags her out of the ring, and they leave. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what Roxanne can do in the chamber. Excuse me. We then get an interview from Seth Rollins saying, I got a few words from you. WrestleMania is 10 weeks away, but I can't get there if I don't win tonight. Then Finn needs this win. Obviously needs this win, but I need it more. I'm all out of words. It's time to fight. So Seth leaves. Karrion Kross walks in and says, Jey Uso believes he can beat Gunther. Seth believes he can qualify for their chamber. Sammy, you believe you can beat Kevin Owens? Sammy, I know you believe there's always time to turn things around. And that's kind of it. So, definitely a very interesting promo. Sad AOP and Paul Ellering got their release. I was kind of hoping they'd stay together. We then get a very interesting Io Sky hype video where she's like underwater and stuff. It's honestly really cool looking. We then get an in-ring New Day promo, with Woods starting off, "Get well soon, Ray." In reality, we wanted to come out here and boo. New Day getting heat, man. Kofi then starts to chime in. "If you give us a second, you'll see boo." Shut up. You're mad about what we said to Big E. You're mad about Rey Mysterio. And that sucked everything. Who sucked everything from every fresh-faced luchador WWE brings in. And yet you still put Rey on a pedestal. Why? Guess what? I have more title wins than Rey does. I've been here longer than Rey. The difference between Rey and myself? I never left. And Rey keeping us out of the locker room, that's Source Star hate. So we took out Rey. And why we made him cry. And now he's not wanting to show his face. Don't like that? So what? It could have been so much worse for Rey. Thankful we showed mercy on him. And we didn't give Rey the old Yeller treatment. So you all should be down on your knees saying thank God for the New Day. And then out comes Rey Mysterio's posse, the LWO. So that's Dragon Lee, Cruz del Toro, and Joaquin Wilde. With Dragon Lee taking the lead, which is very interesting. Saying, what you did to Rey, that's unforgivable. And clearly you have no idea what I'm talking about. But let me say this, full on, New Day sucks. So, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, charge the ring. They brawl with the New Day. Dragon Lee gets involved, so it's 3-on-2. So New Day end up bailing out of the ring. So, if this gets Dragon Lee into a bit more of a prominent spot in WWE, let's do it. Let's get him in charge of the LWO. We then see a Naomi Bianca Belair interview in which they say, I've been counting down the days since we found the news on Jade. And then Chamber, it's going to be everyone from themselves. But after the Chamber, it's going to be Io versus Rhea. And we're going to watch that very, very closely. So, yeah. Once the Monday after the Chamber, Rhea and Io are going to have a title match. So, that'll be something to look out for. We then go to our last qualifying match for the men's chamber, as we got Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor. Balor attacks Seth before the bell rings. Then the ref gets Finn back in his corner, asking Seth, are you ready? You don't want to do this? Seth is like, yeah. Ding, 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 bell rings. Finn is pretty much right on to Seth Rollins. Tries for a pedigree. That gets blocked. Finn hits a pedigree. Only gets a 2. Hits a drop kick. Goes up for the coup de grace. Whiffs. Seth fights back. They pretty much go blow for blow, which is very interesting, with Finn targeting Seth's leg a whole lot, which is very interesting. They counter each other's moves for a bit. Eventually, Seth hits a buckle bomb, attempts a frog splash. Finn gets his knees up. into a roll-up for a 2 count. Finn with a 1916, a sling blade, goes for the drop kick. Seth counters it right into a sharpshooter. Then Seth lets go, picks up Finn, hits a pedigree only for a 2. Attempts a stomp that gets blocked. Finn kicking out Seth's leg. Finn goes up, attempts a coup de grace. Seth gets his leg up. Seth goes for his superplex. That gets blocked into a coup de grace for a 2 count. Seth with a roll-up for a 2 count. Seth then locks Finn into a crossface. Finn rolls out of it, but right into a stomp from Seth, who picks up the win. I will say a very entertaining episode of Monday Night Raw. But I'm going to say this, it feels like WWE is just kind of going through the motions right now. Like, I know the big story is Cena and his retirement tour. But you're telling me you can't give anything else to anyone else? I think that's why this road to WrestleMania is lacking a little bit. Because it's missing that one big story to really look forward to. Although, we'll get something on SmackDown. Don't you worry. Because that was weird. I'm not going to say anything more right now. You'll see it in my SmackDown review. Excuse me. And next up, we go to NWA Power. Still looks at Kill Edition. That's going to be for another couple weeks. And we get a match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title as Joe Acosta, I believe that's his name, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, takes on champion Alex Taylor. And, Taylor's trying to... Joe Acosta is definitely outpowering Taylor for much of this match. But Taylor finesses his way back into it. At one point, Joe going for the firing pin, which is a great name for a finishing move. But Taylor eventually rolls out of it. He grabs his title, goes to walk off, but Joe stops him on the ramp, hits a suplex onto the ring steps, which, I don't care who you are, that's gotta hurt. Eventually, they get back in the ring, and then Taylor hits Joe with the green whistle to pick up the win. So, definitely a really entertaining matchup. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's very, very entertaining. We then get an backstage interview from the Country Gentleman, with Joe pretty much taking the lead, saying, Drake, you got luck on your side. Slime Balls, you're nothing but a grease stain on the business. And you guys are wearing a whole lot of green when you should be wearing a whole lot of yellow to match the streak Drake has. Tonight, you're going to get the ass whooping of a lifetime. We go to an ad. Come back to a Carson Drake Slime Balls promo, with Drake taking the lead, saying, Kazana boys, let me say this. We're not doing things by the book. We're doing things by Carson Drake. With the Slime Balls kind of off to the side, hyping this up. So, very interesting dueling promos. We'll see how this goes. As we're going to a 6-man tag team match players. As the Country Gentleman, that's Joe Kazana, Casey Kazana, and AJ Kazana, take on the Slime Balls. That's Sage and Rant. And the NWA television champion, Carson Drake. And this is a very, very weird match. Like, there's stuff that works, like the Slime Balls and the Country Gentlemen work really well together. Drake is a very, very interesting character. He's not like the normal pro wrestler. He kind of feels like he's trying to be MJF without saying he's MJF. Eventually things absolutely break down. There's brawling all over. Joe Kazana tries for a big DDT on Rant. But then Carson Drake rolls in, gets Joe with a roll-up for a surprise win for Carson Drake and the Slime Balls. So, yeah, definitely an entertaining match, but I did hope the finish would be a little bit more stamp of approval. Like maybe we see the Slime Balls pin one of the Kazanas or something. And then we go to our main event, which is supposed to be a Falls Cows Anywhere match between Brian Idol and Thrillbilly Silas Mason. I say supposed to. We'll get into that. They do start the match kind of normally. Thrillbilly powers out of a whole lot of stuff. One point we see Brian Idol clothesline the Thrillbilly over the top rope. He goes for a dive, but Thrillbilly has a steel chair. And as Idol is coming through the ropes, bam! Headshot with the chair. Idol crumbles like a ton of bricks. The bell rings. Idol is just down. He's like not moving at all. So the medical team comes out. They're checking on Idol. Then Thrillbilly gets back in the ring. He starts posing up. Then the interviewer comes in with Mason saying, "You know, Kyle, I had a talk in the back with the office. The problem with the collarbone is that it's attached to the coward's body. I am the Alpha and the Omega, and I'm going to be your next World Heavyweight Champion." So Thrillbilly trying to move on quick from Idol, which is very, very interesting. I do believe it is announced that they're going to have a match somewhere down the line, which I do hope gets enough build-up. It's definitely an interesting way to end a match. Very unexpected, but you know, you want to have Thrillbilly Silas Mason look really unstoppable. Anyway, NWA has done a great job at. Yeah, definitely an interesting episode of Looks That Kill. Gonna be interesting to see how this continues, including the big old title match coming between Tom Latimer and EC3, which, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. And then we finish up with AEW Dynamite, and we start off with the MJF Hangman Adam Page face-off. And oh boy, they did not hold back. MJF saying, "The year was 2019. The first match I had in AEW was the Casino Battle Royal." In which, yeah, that's Double or Nothing. That feels like it was a million years ago. Anyway, I had the match won, and you screwed me. You cheap-shotted me. And I had to scratch and claw my way back to the top. I beat everyone's favorites, but I'm struggling to remember who I first beat for this Dynamite Diamond ring. Oh yeah, it was you, Hangman. And I went on to win this ring 6 times, headlined the biggest wrestling event ever, and I'm the best and longest reigning champion of all time. And you know why, Hangman? It's because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it. Hangman then picks up the microphone and says, "Why are you talking to me like I don't know who you are?" While sitting here listening to you list your accomplishments, I'm mad about it. And there's something you haven't been able to win from them. That gets a little bit of a pop from the crowd. MJF replies, "You think I care about them? Funny that these hypocrites tell who is deserving or not. These guys work up and choose you as main character." And then MJF just runs down everything Hangman has done for a while, including retiring Christopher Daniels, setting Swerve Strickland's childhood home on fire, amongst other things. MJF questions, "But he's clearly the good guy, right?" They will chant cowboy shit all they want. Everybody loves you, but there's a question for you. After everything you've done, who are you? After ending Daniel's career, but before MJF can continue, Hangman puts his hand on MJF's microphone, says, "Daniels is twice the man you are. He gave his life to this business for pro wrestling, and I would never have it any other way. He took care of wrestling when it didn't return the favor. It's because of Daniels we are standing here tonight, and clearly you don't have the stomach for it. If your career ended tonight, what would they say about you? They'd call you a selfish coward, chasing their admiration. I'm not going to be putting words in their mouths. I know right from wrong. I never lied to them. And if I ever had a problem with anybody, I said it to their face. And everything I have, everything I fought for once, for your sake, deep down, you know it." MJF then starts kind of laughing at Hangman, saying, "Oh my God, are you a child? You didn't win fair and square to get to the top. I earned everything. I can't say the same thing about you. You were the golden boy, and all I needed was a scarf and a microphone. Name one thing you do better than me." Hangman walks right up to MJF, says, "I am real." MJF then gets right back into Hangman's face, says, "Know what? You can be the main character all you want. I got no problem being the bad guy." They face off for a minute. Then they start taking their jackets off. MJF pops his ring off. It looks like they're going to get into it. But officials come out. Looks like they're going to escort MJF off. MJF kind of puts his hands up. Turns to the ring. Looks like he's going to leave. Turns back. Hawks a freaking loogie right into Hangman's face. Hangman then goes after MJF. MJF bails out of the ring and goes up the ramp. Hangman then fights off security. He goes up the ramp. Standing on top of the ramp is Christopher Daniels. Hangman stops. They have a little conversation. Hangman goes right back after MJF. So, yeah, this story with Hangman, it's been quite the journey, and it's definitely one of the few things AEW is getting very, very right. We then get a recap of AEW Grand Slam from last Saturday. I did plan on reviewing it. I do apologize for that. But we shall get into it. We then go to a backstage interview with Roderick Strong, flanked by Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, baby. With Roderick saying, "Orange!" I'm glad we decided to do this forever. You're not stopping me from getting a revolution. Kyle chimes in. Clearly, Cassidy is still my boy, but Strong is going to whip Cassidy's ass, and that's undisputed. It's definitely interesting to see these three as a unit together, especially without Bobby Fish, which I think AEW should reach out to Bobby Fish, maybe bring him back, especially after that match between Fish and Punk, if you guys remember that. So, yeah, definitely definitely going to be interesting to see how that qualifying match is going to go a bit later on. But first, we got trios action, as we have the Patriarchy. So that's Christian Cage, Kip Sabian, and Nick Wayne. Feel Better Soon Killswitch, a.k.a. Luchasaurus. Taking on the Ops, which is Samoa Joe, Hook, and Kazuyori Shibata. I'm going to say this match did start off a little bit awkwardly. But eventually they did get it together, especially when Joe came in and just started wrecking people. Eventually we get Nick Wayne and Hook in the ring together. Nick Wayne tries for Wayne's World. Hook catches him right into the Red Room. Then you got Joe and Shibata holding Kip Sabian and Christian Cage back. And that leads to the tap out for Nick Wayne and the win for the Ops. So, yeah, definitely a fun little matchup. We'll see where this goes. We then have a recap of Ring of Honor Global Wars, which also took place in Australia. So, definitely a bit interesting. We then get an interview from Chris Jericho, and it's only Chris Jericho, which is very, very weird. Asking the interviewer, "Are you really getting smart with me? I could have you thrown out of the building." Clearly, if there's no Chris Jericho, there's no AEW. I am too nice. I am the cinco. No, wait. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve. Meaning the 9-time world champion. And Bandito, I know you're behind this camera. I'm going to give you a chance at the ROH title on Collision, which is later on tonight. I'm going to give you the chance to beat me, and people are getting way too comfortable around Chris Jericho. So, yeah, we're getting Jericho and Bandito later on tonight. That should be a fun one. But next up, we got a big old hoss fight, as it's a street fight between Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs. And yeah, this was pretty much a hoss fight. Ah, damn it. Yeah, these two guys wrecked each other, including Big Bill getting a wrench and just attacking Hobbs. They trade chair shots, big boots. But eventually we see Bill and Hobbs brawl up to the stage. Hobbs then head smashes Big Bill into the steps, gets him up, hits a big old spine buster off the stage through a barbed wire table, and I guess that is enough to pick up the win for Powerhouse Hobbs. Let's get Hobbs into a title program at some point. Like, come on now. We then go backstage for a Brian Cage Lance Archer interview, saying, we want to go face to face with the champs. We'll see you on Collision. You can't wait 2 seconds. It was then announced that Double or Nothing is coming to Phoenix. So first time Double or Nothing is going to be held outside of Vegas. Then we get a promo from Timeless Tony Storm saying this tramp is your new champ. She beat Mariah May at Grand Slam. On the other side of the world, I faced the woman from hell, a woman who ruined my soul. While I am so proud of you, you gave me the fight of my life, and the best things come to those in small packages. And while May is done, with this title, I want to be the best, and I need to face the best. You here go face to face. I'm not a hard woman to find. God is a woman, and her name is Timeless. So, yeah, definitely a very interesting promo from Tony Storm. We then get a Gabe Kidd vignette showing he's going to be on Collision this Saturday. That should be fun. We then get the start of a Willow Nightingale interview saying, your husband attacked and his Death Riders attacked me. The Death Riders are not. But before she can continue, Maria Shafir attacks Willow. Then Mox and Shafir enter the arena. At some point they pick up Yuta and Claudio. Then Moxley gets on the microphone, says, let me ask you a question. You know who I am. I am the AEW World Champion. This is my microphone, my camera, my ring, my arena. Nobody comes into my house and challenges me. I don't care who they are. Down in Australia, I popped Cope's head off his shoulders. If he makes it to Revolution, I'll finish the job. This brings out Switchblade Jay White. He has a chair. He's getting ready to go. Pac then appears behind Jay White. Looks like to be a big old Death Riders beatdown. Copeland music hits. Moxley is ready to intercept him. Then Cope attacks Moxley from behind, hits pretty much everyone with a spear, Jay White with a Blade Runner. Copeland then grabs Spike, and the Death Riders bail out. Copeland then starts chasing the Death Riders into the arena, up into the concourse area, turns back around to the camera, has a microphone for whatever reason, saying, "Moxley, this isn't your arena. These aren't your people. They are my people. I know you're heading back to hotel because you're a coward. You got no spine. I'm going to take out your goon squad one by one until at Revolution it's one-on-one. And I'm going to kick your ass." This is the kick in the pants the Death Riders storyline needed. And I am just so ready for it. We then go backstage for a Mercedes Moné interview, where she starts, there's not going to be any big surprises. No puppets either. Renee's like, no puppets either. Clearly there's no stopping the Moné train, because there's a price to pay when you mess with Moné. Renee then reveals a video of Momo Watanabe, who won a number one contenders tournament at Wrestle Dynasty, issuing a challenge for the TBS title for Revolution. We cut back to Moné saying, "What the hell was that? Momo, you want to stop the Moné train? Say it to my face next week." Oh, nice little face-off. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, this is turning out to be a really, really good card for Revolution. I can't wait. We then get a little bit of a hoss fight, as we got Chris Statlander taking on Megan Bayne. And this match was so good. One point, Statlander attempts Wednesday Night Fever. That gets countered. One point, we have Bay attempting a superplex. Statlander blocks it. Then Penelope Ford comes out, pushes Chris Statlander off the top rope, right into Bay's F5 to pick up the win. Then Ford attacks Chris Statlander post-match. Then out comes Thunder Rosa with a steel chair, and she's kind of just like prodding at Ford and Megan Bayne. I don't know. It's very, very, very weird. We then get a Max Caster interview. Saying he wants to go eye to eye with the best. That's why the open challenge is continuing. I want the opponent to look at myself in the eyes and get beat, because you cannot be better than the best. So, nice little thing continuing Max Caster's storyline. We then get a Ricochet interview promo saying, "I'd be bitter too if I lived here. I'm trying to get out of this boring town ASAP. When you boo a winner, you boo into the void. I proved it when I beat Swerve last week, and I've been proving it ever since I got here. And Winner's got something to show for it, and boy do I." Shows off the robe he stole from Prince Nana. "I'm not just content wearing this, I want this," indicating he wants gold. "And that's where my sights are set. Ricochet will be champion in AEW. And before he continue, Swerve's music hits. But Swerve doesn't come out. It's actually Prince Nana who comes out. He gets in the ring, grabs a microphone, says, I know what you're thinking. I wanted to be the one to talk to you one-on-one. I know you and Swerve are beefing all over the place, but you're wearing something that doesn't belong to you. We were making history. That robe has a lot to do with it. And it also represents those we lost. And anyone who wears it has honor. And Nana never gave you that opportunity. You did prove you are a winner. But please, give the robe back. Ricochet gets right into Nana's ear. Says, you want this back? Take it. What's the matter? Are you going to cry? You're not getting this robe back. And he walks off. So, now I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, it's a feud over a robe, blah, blah, blah. It's like the bracelet. Honestly, it's really not. Because this robe Ricochet has used to belong to a member of Nana's group back in the original Ring of Honor who has recently passed. So it has a bit more emotional ties. So I'm definitely cool with it. And then we get to our main event, and it's kind of a number one contendership for the international title, but it's not for Revolution. So, here's what we got. We got this match between Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. Winner moves on to next week to face Takeshita for the international title. The winner of that goes on to Revolution to face Kenny Omega. So it's kind of a tournament, but it's a different style of tournament, if that makes any sense. And honestly, this match was honestly really, really funny. As a couple of times we see Cassidy roll out, he gives Kyle O'Reilly a hug, and then Cole's on the other side looking like, what the heck? Roderick Strong then rolls out, gives both of them a hug, gets back in, does a move to Cassidy. Then Cassidy goes back out, hugs Kyle, eats a big old drop kick from Roderick. They get back in, they counter pretty much everything. Cassidy with a big beach break for a 2 count. Misses on an orange punch. Roderick Strong with a bunch of backbreakers for a 2 count. Attempts a Boston Crab that gets blocked. But eventually Roderick gets a stronghold. But Cassidy breaks out. Hits a stunner. Hits an orange punch for your winner, Orange Cassidy. And then post-match, we were supposed to get a Cassidy interview. But then you have Don Callis, Mark Davis, and Takeshita come out. With Callis having the microphone saying, Orange, I'm going to tell everyone you're a great champ. But to me, you're nothing but a red-headed hippie. Mark Davis and Takeshita then completely attack Cassidy. Kenny Omega comes out, tries to make the save, but the numbers are way too much. Cassidy then fights back, hitting a big old stunner on Takeshita. Omega with a V-trigger. Cassidy with a big orange punch on Davis. And then Omega picks up the international title off the mat, holds it up in celebration, turns to Cassidy with it, and they have a little stare down. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting series of matches. I can't wait to see where it goes. And, yeah, thanks for sticking with me through this. I know it was a little tough for everybody. Should be back to normally scheduled programming on Monday. Maybe with a little special something post Elimination Chamber. Hopefully when I'm feeling a little better. So until next time, happy wrestling.